You have to. So when you're being objective, you have to think about who is this music for, what environment is this music supposed to be in, and does it work for the environment
No,
within
I
those
don't.
people?
No, I don't. I
It
just have to
no.
listen, and I
The
take
answer to the
listens.
question
That was
is
it.
for objectivity. You said for
Yeah.
subjectivity is what you just described. Those are two separate things. So
No,
to
but
be
objectivity, I feel you. Yes, you can take setting into place. You can
no,
take
you. What I'm
context into
saying is
place.
you
So,
have to take all those things into place, or you're
sure.
not being objective at all. If you can't
Right.
fully be objective, isn't a fair statement. But if you're talking about a spectrum of it, you're way closer to objectivity when you take context into place, and then understand what your likes and dislikes are, and that's fair. Nobody's saying you have to like the shit.
Right. But how are you gonna say that and then say what you said about classic rock ballads?
Yeah, because I'm able to
Really
say,
didn't take into context.
yo,
the
bro,
setting?
a lot of these guys, I did. They don't care about the lyrics. It was all about rock. It was all about the guitars. It was all about crazy. And I know this
Some
because
Lil
I
Uzi
got
Vert cares about lyrics.
kind of. He cares about melodies and flows and brevity and
Not
simplicity.
lyrics.
Yes, he does. But in the way that like an emo rock band would kind of be really simple with their love poetry. So yeah, I do think he does because I've listened to his shit
But
and
when
I.
he's simple with his poetry, that's one thing. But a
Yo, but
classic rock ballad didn't care
yo,
about
because
lyrics.
they
Really
literally
just-
did. Yo, man, I have rock fans in my comments. I could like pull it up one day and go through this with you, and you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, man!" Rock fans basically said, "Stop talking about the fucking lyrics. You don't know about rock, motherfucker. You don't get the genre." And I got put in my place. They're like, poetry was secondary, bitch. Learn about guitar riffs before you come up in here. And I'm like, oh, say word. But I'm like really listening to the poetry and trying to take it. Now, we want to talk about Bob Dylan's and certain people, the Beatles and whatnot. Yeah, okay, cool. But like, then you get to the Zeppelins where like, yo, it's mad hit or miss, my guy. It is mad hit or miss in the Zeppelins and shit like that.
What I'm saying is, I'm not claiming rock ballads had immaculate lyricism, but what I'm saying
Same
is
quality as Lil
keep
Uzi
that
Vert.
same energy for fucking guys like Lil Uzi Vert.
No, but it's the
I
sa-
will not sit here
but
and
it's the
like,
same
tell me
But
that
yo,
man
pop music's pop
has
music for
intricate
time.
lyricism.
But he's a great pop music guy. And pop music's been pop music forever. Like pop
No,
music
that's not
was
what I was
never
talking
like
about.
better or
I know it's
worse.
pop music.
What?
I said that's not what I was talking about. I know it's pop music. We were talking about how
Yeah, but like again, the context of it. So like when I think about like his lyricism and his audience, who he's connecting to, I actually know his songs have messages, purposes, and coherent. Like he can fill an entire concept. He wrote an entire love album about his breakup with his girl, and it was like a progressive story. That is actually not that as bad as anybody describes. People just aren't into the particular choice of words he uses to describe the sentiment. But based on any evaluation I've given to anybody else, I was left with, nah, Lil Uzi Vert's kind of dope, and his flows are kind of intricate because they're actually kind of hard to rap when you learn them. And then I realized I like him and I like what he does, and I actually like learned his songs a bit. Like I put effort into it. And the same thing with Lil Yachty, man. Lil Yachty is next. Yo, Lil Yachty, we can go through this. As I've gotten many times on Facebook, that dude clearly listened to a lot of fucking Red, man. That's all I can say about Lil Yachty.
really you're good. Okay, hold on. Okay, all right, continue.
But when you look at the humor of how these guys constructed their bars, and then you look at the humor and the shit on how these other dudes construct their bars, you can like really go find like, yeah, they did listen to the outrageous and outlandish shit these guys were saying back in the day, and this is their version of it. And then Lil Yachty is a dude's been rich since he's 17. I don't know about you, but if you're keeping it real, everybody's hating on you since you're 17 and your life is surreal, right? Like, it's not going to be normal. So, like,
Right.
with that, when you actually listen to Lil Yachty's bars, it sounds like a 1990s hip-hop album, except for the use of auto-tune. But nobody actually pulls up fucking Genius and goes through the fucking lyrics because they don't. What? Have you...
I have.
And like, I mean, you can like,
Not impressive.
when he's
Not
17,
90s one.
when he's
I
17,
don't give a
fine. But like, there's like almost
I
no.
was fucking 18 when he did Illmatic.
He was 16 when he did Illmatic, and he's also the only example people can give because everyone else says my poetry was trash when I was 16 and 17. Like everyone else.
There's other fucking. There's even Shaheem, man. I'm pretty sure he was even younger than us. I would rather
Yeah,
listen
but
to
like
Shaheem.
most people aren't actually that, and it's a really
Listen to
weird
Chris
argument.
Cross, bro.
Crisscross was so Jermaine Dupri wrote some great rhymes for some 11-year-olds. That's a really not that great example to use either, because they were kind of had like.
Convinced Lil Yachty writes all his bars, and you have proof of that? You saying shit like that?
I'm pretty sure he does. I'm like, because this guy is like too proficient. He puts out too much music too consistently. Like, he's actually like a guy I think put a lot of work into the craft, and a lot of people don't like what he does. Fair enough, but he's also a super versatile artist that makes music that I've seen a lot of people love. I just think a lot of rappers don't like it, and that's fine. But I
think this goes back to what you said before, right? Artist taste versus listener taste. And right, like, I'm not gonna configure my fucking own brain to be like, oh, how does a fucking generic listener of pop music or a generic consumer is gonna approach this? I don't really fucking care, because that's not my mind state anymore.
But
right?
like, I care about how 16-year-olds think, to be honest. Just 16-year-olds. I do give a fuck about that. To me, that matters as a person in media.
Not with music taste. I really couldn't give a fuck about what 16-year-olds think when it comes to music, because they really only listen to music that, you know, their peer group listens to. The cool dude in their class is bumping it, or some chick that they're trying to smash. They're like, oh yeah, she's into fucking whatever, let me get on.
So believe it or not, that's more true about us than it is about them with their fucking access to. No. I know. No, I'm talking. I'm doing this walk through people's life stories, and you start to find trends, right? So for like millennial and older, we didn't have YouTube at 12. So our tastes were less algorithmically defined, which you can make a huge argument for with this next generation. But these motherfuckers were like 10 years old listening to Tupac and Lil Wayne at the same time, because they could in a way that we never could. And that's a huge... And so honestly, their opinions on music are way more eclectic than ours. Like, just because they had the means... Like, they never had to buy a CD and actually bump that mother. Like, do you remember buying CDs? That's like a real experience that shapes your habits and your taste and shit versus other. And I'm just saying. So I get that. The younger ones, dude, they're gonna come through and fuck up music.
Why are they still listening to like fucking five? You say that, yeah, they have access.
They care way more about music, musicology, music, than hip hop. So if you're trying to defend it from the point of the hip hop definitions of shit, I hear you. The music definitions, I don't even agree with you. Oh my guy. Like, music's way.
I'm just talking about
because lyrics is one element. Like, so music is one element of songwriting and music and a song is. So lyric, what words you use in the bars is like, what, 10% of all the songwriting decisions at most. There's so many other things that go into music, from engineering choices, whether you double or layer it. Yo, what's up, Max Mupese? Max, he's coming through soon. So, like, what do you double it? Yo, your interview is going to be a lot more story. We is like part 2 of Eulogy. I'm just letting you know, Max. I want to know your story. That dude is like in Montreal, fucking wrote a book, fucking does a bunch of... He brought Locksmith in, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I hope you plug my stuff in on his interview this way.
You show up in my chat, you get plugged. You haven't opened a Twitch one time I come through. You want to come every time you would showing up, and I would assume
you know what my username is on Twitch?
No idea.
There you go. So how are you gonna say I've never popped in?
Because, well, if you did, you didn't make it knowing you were there for me to plug you, and that's the difference.
I'm just saying.
I have no idea if you're on Twitch though. Are you on Twitch?
100%. Baby Straight Jacket.
Oh, that's you?
That's me.
Fair. Okay, now I'm gonna plug you on Twitch. No, for real though. But if I don't know like who you are, how am I supposed to like plug you in here on Twitch? But if you show up, I'm gonna be like, yo, what's good? Because that's the Twitch moves.
Right.
But yo,
going back to what we were saying.
No. So yeah, with that, I think a lot of times, especially with our preferences, they come from like this boxes that got defined in ourselves. And I remember you liked nu metal, you liked a lot of shit, and I fucks with what you fuck with a lot. Actually, I think my preferences prior to being an album reviewer actually lined up a lot more with yours until I went on that shit. So it changed me.
Right.
I can't even say my opinion is valid, because it changed me so much. It's just this perspective versus yours, right? But then what I realized when I talk to the little ones is they don't see music in genres or boxes, and they don't consider just the way we do. Like I'm really about like the Eminem, focus on the lyrics and the lyrics and the lyrics, but these kids see it like there's so much more to it. It's broader. The flow and the melody are of equal value. as the
That's
particular.
most listeners, man. That's not even just the new generation.
Yeah, but
most
that's
people
because
you talk to don't give a fuck about lyrics.
Yeah, but in a different way. I'm talking about the artists. The artists were studying more things when they were younger at like 12, because then half these kids, that the artists that I've talked to in Montreal, anecdotally, whatever, that have like just are active now at 22, they're like 15 with all the time in the world in YouTube, learning how to sound engineer and like play with their voice and testing it. But you're 15 now, and you're sitting there. Oh, I'm gonna do Dirty South Trap this week, and I'm gonna do New York Boom Bap next week, and I'm gonna do emo the week after, and you're just, so it's like, man, that's why this shit gets put on, because Lil Yachty is when you got the girls around, like the start of your project, and you say flip it up, and I want that shit up. Your 2015 project literally starts with you guys doing some like rappity rap shit, and then you immediately are cognizant of the fact that this music is not good for all times and places. Well, guess what?
Right.
18-year-olds want to smash. Lil Yachty's gonna do real well. My girlfriend dances to Lil Yachty songs, my dude, because he's got that kind of vibe.
That's such a weird concept to me, man. Trying to fucking get some trim by playing Little Yachty.
But trust, oh my gosh, that's
I don't know, bro. I don't
but
know.
like
That's
it's got dancey pop fun vibes.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like fucking garbage when I put it on, man. It's like low
I hear you.
intelligence music.
It's
I
not.
don't know, dude.
I mean, I hear you. I hear why there's branding that's been done to create that narrative. In my opinion, there's a lot of people who are invested in a lot of people thinking that because it's whatever.
Yeah.
But if you go back to your own project, I think I can cite a great example for how something like that could become very popular. Because let's be real, it's not that fun at the Sausage Fest full of sausage festing, and like battle rap might be the pinnacle of skill in this shit, and there's not a lot of ladies in there.
I'm not either, though. That's the thing, right? I feel like you're almost thinking I'm some fucking
No,
champion.
I meant it more like
You're just
skill as a
fucking
focus
battle rap
versus
guy.
vibe as a focus. So skill as a focus, battle rap's the pinnacle. Vibe as a focus, a pop concert from Justin Bieber might be the pinnacle. You know, I'm just trying to give you a spectrum.
No, I get all that, yeah.
And so when you look at the crowds, there's a lot more girls in one room than the other. And I think that's how so many people... Yo, do you know how many rappers are like straight up like, I hated performing for a room full of men, so I started doing songs that are completely different than what I started with, just so women would come to the show?
I don't know how to feel about that. But
Or
sure, I've
Rush,
heard stuff like
Rush, the band,
that.
said that
Yes.
they spent their entire career performing to stadiums of men.
No, I know that, of course. That's like a Family Guy joke. In one of
But
the
it's-
episodes about there's literally nothing but dudes in fucking jeans and black shirts. Yeah, no, I get that.
So it's
but
like,
I would again personally.
Yeah, I love it.
And I think we've gotten so far off track. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a fucking
to be fair, this is your
me chime in real
opinions.
quick.
It's still you. Oh, yeah.
Let me chime in real quick. Me personally, again, like you said, there's these weak sauce dudes that are like, oh man, I just wanted some females to come through to my show. Why don't you just get females to come through to your show? Me, I would rather be genuine to my art and what I do and be something like a Royce the 5'9" than go compromising and doing all this other shit to try to be a Drake or Weekend. I imagine he's got way more females in attendance than the dudes, maybe if it's a 50-50 split. But me personally, I'd be a guy like Royce, and I guarantee you there's still chicks coming out to Royce's shows, and you don't have to compromise. You don't have to do any of this fucking buffoonery and change your art and start putting out different kind of songs to get females
Well,
around.
I mean,
That's
I'm
a cheap
gonna
tactic almost, man.
I'm
It's
gonna
almost a cheap-
argue that
females
these
come, the boys are
people.
gonna-
So let's say you party a lot in a certain scene. It's just kind of the vibe that you want versus in other scenes. I mean, I'm just saying cheap tactic. It depends. Sometimes it's disingenuous, upon which I agree with you. I don't know if it's always disingenuous. Sometimes it's really just what these people, like Black Eyed Peas.
That's what I'm saying. If that's what you want, that's the kind of music you want to make, just do that. But people who are sitting there go, oh man, like all these shows I do, it's only the homies there. I'm gonna change my entire fucking artistry. I mean, at the end of the day, who the fuck am I to say? Maybe that is the music they've been wanting to make.
Nah, but to be fair, I do think your music has actually got a lot of versatility and interest in it. So like, as much as I think that you're like, I have like a thing where I feel like when people kind of state certain things, I'm engage with it because it's interesting to see where people are at with it, right? So like the idea that Lil Yachty's trash, it's inflaming. Plus, it's a great clip. But like at the same time, like it's interesting to see why you think that way, especially coming from like where you're at with it. And then we've had the chat before. I'm not gonna lie. So like I'm aware of that. But like
Right.
with
For the listeners, I think to me it really just comes down to, man, if I hear music and it sounds like fucking like music to me, again, most people might not agree with this, but it needs to be, when I listen to it, something that I can't just get drunk with the homies and be like, yo, let's go make this exact same song and it'll take us no effort. I know what your counter is going to be. Oh, I mean, if everybody could make these songs that blow up by these guys, everybody would be doing it. My whole thing is I want to listen to something that it's like, god damn, like, how the fuck did they do that shit? They come up with that flow, that vocal inflection, the lyrics. I could never do that. Most kids nowadays listen to this shit and they say the opposite. They're like, word, I could definitely fucking do that because there's nothing special going on there. From the lyrics to the concepts, the shit they talk about, it's so fucking been done to death. Even, you might say, okay, none of the stuff I talk about in my music is exactly unique or never been said before, but I always at least...
I was like, you just dropped a track on Day One, which is a good song y'all should go listen to.
What's that?
I'm like, you just dropped a song called Day Ones, which, as far as concepts go, is a respectable concept to use.
But it's been done 100 times before, right? But I just thought, okay, like, what's going to be super cliche about something like this? Don't fucking do that stuff, right? And anytime I hear any one of these fucking auto-tune soaked, whiny, dolphin-sounding fucking, you know, dudes come on the song, it's just painful to even try and sit through the song because it's the exact same approaches to concepts, something about drip and bitches and it's like, fuck, man, I've no songs from my era said the same exact shit, but at least they maybe had something unique about it. I think that came more from how hip-hop used to be more region-based and maybe a lot more music used to be region-based because we weren't so connected due to the internet. Things wasn't,
so,
you know.
Actually, I love what you said about that region-based thing. So the region-based thing kind of forced you to play with your community and impress them.